unbelievably, while he was sitting watching the film, something flashed up on the screen that says, Rinty Monaghan wanted immediately. That's the only way they could get him, and it flashed up in every screen in the Newcastle cinemas at the same time. He's sitting in the back row going, oh my God. So he rushed out, no dinner, no conditioning, no nothing, into the ring. He fought the guy. He said, before the fight, he said, I had a raw egg and a glass of sherry. Unfazed by the racket, by all the commotion, Rinty won. He got Joe with a right hook in the 5th round, and he finished the fight with a traditional singing of a song, but not When Irish Eyes Are Smiling. It was Solitude, it was called. He used to come into the ring to Judy Garland singing What a Great Day for the Irish, from the film What a Great Day for the Irish. And he came out of the ring, he would sing various songs, and Irish Eyes Were Smiling became the ultimate one. But songs such as Solitude, they were the songs that he would have sang. He also had wins over Sammy Reynolds, Billy Ashton, Seaman Chetty. The war was getting ever closer. And then the war broke out in September 1939. Entertainment, boxing, you name it, it all stopped in Belfast. The curfew, the lights out, nothing to do. So what did Rinty do? He joined up, did his bit, and then joined up with the Entertainment National Service Association, or ENSA. Not Mensa, ENSA. So we went to live in London for a while, but they got their kicks by going around doing shows for the soldiers. And this is where Rinty was learning. He had his ring craft, he had his boxing craft. Rinty was now learning to entertain. You can see the two things are coming together. Boxing, entertainment, means a showman. Rinty's getting all the experience he wants in the ring. And he's also getting all the experience he wants entertaining the troops. When the war was over, he returned to Liverpool and he lost to Joe Curran. But the fight I want to talk about happened in 1945, and it's for the Northern Ireland flyweight title against Bunty Dorn in the Ulster Hall. Bunty Dorn and Rinty were both world class. Eamon, true to say that Bunty would have been slight favourite to beat him? Bunty was number 4 in the world at the time. What was at stake was, after the war, we have a situation where whoever wins this Northern Ireland flyweight fight is going to go straight up the world rankings. You've Bunty Dorn and you've got Rinty Monaghan. You couldn't have turned a sweet in your mouth in the Ulster Hall that night. You had the Governor of Northern Ireland, you had Lord Burtborough as well. What was Lord Burtborough doing there? Boxing fight between two wee men from the back streets. This is how this battle encapsulated people. They talked about it for days, they talked about it for nights in the pubs and around the tables. Rinty Monaghan against Bunty Dorn was the biggest thing to hit Belfast since the Luftwaffe, I can say that, since penicillin. So it was on the 6th of November, the Northern Ireland flyweight title. They were both good friends, and I think they were related some way through marriage. Some people say cousins. He stepped into the ring, did Rinty Monaghan, and he was in great shape. Absolutely great shape. He'd sparred with Eddie McCulloch. Have I got Eddie McCulloch's brother here? Nephew. Gentlemen, I met this guy before tonight came in. Eddie McCulloch. This is what I love about this. When you mentioned there's going to be a boxing dude, they all come out of the woodwork, and all of a sudden, did I ever tell you that my brother or nephew or uncle fought and sparred on it? Your name, sir, give me the full name, please.
Peter McNally from Portadown.
Peter, you fought John McNally. No, you didn't.
I fought Joe McNally.
Very good. Listen, give me your full name.
Peter Francis Aloysius Mahoney. McCulloch McNally.
Very well done. You have a picture of your brother.
What I can down see what sort of a character Uncle Ted box with. You probably learned it all from Ted.
There he is there. Obviously that's a well-loved heirloom that you kept in the house. You know, this guy sparred with Rinty before he fought Bunty Dorn. He died, didn't he, tragically?
22 years of age he died of peritonitis. That's over 60 years ago.
So, I mean, it's great to come to these things and you see a link. It's like closing the circle. You see things happening, things coming together, connections. It's fantastic. It's great to see you. Thank you very much for turning up. I think you worked with Jim McCord, did you? He's sitting over there.
I know Jim. I got a card from Jim when he was at the Olympics in Tokyo. Was it 1964? Sent me a card to London. I was in at the time, you know.
Go over and say hands. My father's with him there, Tony. Listen, you can all meet up and have good crack afterwards, as they say, because the thing about boxing, fraternity and boxers, never know when to shut up to each other. Because A, boxers never lost a fight, they were always robbed. And B, when they start talking about boxing, by goodness can they talk about boxing. We're here. The year's 1945, it's November. It's Rinty against Bunty Dorn. Oh, with the referee there, Mr. Smith. What a contest it was. Bunty was knocked out in the 4th round. He was doing well up to that point when, scoring the finer arts, he rushed in and was caught with a short right. Put him down for 8. He rose on steady pins and Rinty completed his night's work with a powerful right-hand punch. As he left the famous boxing venue, Monaghan supporters hoisted him shoulder high. There, that poem at the start. Your supporters carried you through the marketplace shoulder high. A hero. And they brought him back to Little Corporation Street, where an amplifier was rigged up, and the new Northern Ireland flyweight champion sang well into the night out through the window. That was the start of it. They knew, he knew, by beating Bunty Dorn, he was in the right direction. Going in the right direction. And that was the first of many memorable nights at his home. Always the entertainer. Singing, fighting, great guy.
Look, we have to make a show here. What are you doing? I said, why am I fighting you? No! But I know you, we grew up in the same district. I suppose we're earning a living. That is just it. Why do we have to earn a living? By trying to knock a shite out of each other? I work as a lorry driver and that wouldn't keep you on fakes. Is it the district I brought up in? Well, not really. I box guys from the Shankill, Short, Strand, all over the place. What is it, Belfast then? I box in Liverpool, Glasgow, Newcastle. So what is it? Rinty, look, we have to get stuck in here. Put it this way. We grew up in Malone Road, right? I went to Campbell College. Would we be here now acting like this? Like, wild animals? We're getting paid for it. Well, but so do university lecturers. Well done, Rinty, well done. I went to get him. He's trying to catch you in the ring. Well, you must say that. Music is important to us, express thinking one. Ours is big and egg. Jesus, I'd hate to come home hungry from work and the wife sat down a plate of geraniums. You ever dream, Bunty? What do you mean you ever dream? Of course you dream. What about? Fucking can't remember. Was in the Turkish back. Trying to lose weight for this friggin' fight, what do you think? What happened? A beautiful woman came in. She came up to me. She took me by the hand. She says, Bunty, let me take you away from all this. He says I can't at the fight with the monaghan and I need the money. She says it's all right, I have plenty of money. He says, what about Rinty? She says, don't worry about Rinty. He's got a job as a university lecturer. Keep your comment. If you sit out there, I do it. Feel it. Not Jim. Not Jim. And final round.
saw it coming.
What was the general idea?
Right away and have the hospital for observation.
So did I. That time I hit you with a second. That was a fracture to the jaw.
What a way to earn a living, eh?
Well, after I knock you out, I'm gonna sing when Irish guys are swaying. Is that okay?
Sing whatever the hell you like.
We move on a year. And what happened was we were at Hampton Park, it's July 1947. Jackie Patterson, remember him? Knocked Rinty out. He was supposed to fight the champion, Dado Marino, at Hampton Park, but he had to withdraw. So 16,000 people sitting in the rain, it lashed and lashed and lashed. We're waiting on the fight, they were going to wreck the place. So what happened was, at short notice, Rinty took the fight. It was a very, very poor fight in the rain. And Rinty was disqualified for holding.
Rinty had him down with the first punch he threw.
That's right. You sure did. You sure wasn't slipping in the rain, Eamon? Because we have footage of it, but it was absolutely, it was like that day last June or a couple of years ago. It was horrendous, absolutely horrendous. They had to bring on, at the end of the fight, they had to bring on scuba divers to get the two boxers out. But anyway, but 3 months later, Rinty got his chance at Haringey to take on Dado Marino again. Now, the problem was, Jackie Patterson was still considered to be champion. British Boxing Board of Control saying, no, Jackie's a champion, sorry, we're not going to recognise this. But the American Boxing Board of Control says, hold on, that title that Marino has, that is the world title. And if Rinty Monaghan beats him, he's going to be world champion. So what you have then is that, believe it or not, the Irish Boxing Board of Control come in behind the American Boxing Board of Control says, right, yeah, we'll recognise Rinty too. So there was this sort of row and bad taste that happened because of all this. But anyway, I'll tell you what, the Irish papers went nuts for Rinty because this was the chance and the opportunity now for Ireland, north or south, to get itself a world champion. We hadn't even got an Olympic medalist. John McNally would not do it until 5 years after Rinty fought Dado Marino. Now I'm going to talk to you about some of the things about Rinty Monaghan. In those days, people used to say about Rinty, he trained on goat's milk, which he did. We went to the papers and found it, sure enough. He says there's plenty of trees in the Cave Hill, but not as many as there were on the Cave Hill Cottage before Rinty Monaghan and his henchmen got their axes and cross saws. Rinty goes to work on the tree, this is his training. Rinty goes to work on the trees and finds himself with no other kind of work to do. He'd make a first-class lumberjack. The trees come down and Rinty then gets out the saw. Then 3 or 4 minutes on the Cave Hill, he's out with the medicine ball. Now he tosses around like a football. You ever felt the medicine ball? My God, they're heavy. But he had worked in the shipyard. He had worked lifting the heaviest beams and whatever. But he was a strong guy, 5'4", just under 8 stone. My God, he was a bombshell. A crooning bombshell, he was once described as. But then he goes on to say, when Rinty's morning's work is done, that's the moment he's been looking forward to. Rinty is a glutton for goat's milk. On the Cave Hill College farm, where Mrs. Caulfield, the owner, breeds champion dogs, they keep a couple of goats whose main purpose in life is to provide Rinty with milk. So they're called Minnie and Clarence. And believe it or not, it says here, in spite of the name, Clarence is a female too. So we've got 2 female goats, and their sole aim in life on the Cave Hill is to give goat's milk to Rinty Monaghan. Now who would get that in this day and age? I see goat's milk in Tesco's, and I go, no thank you, right? But Rinty, I think he'd have drank it from the udder. if he'd have got his chance. So basically, he's down, he takes a raw egg, a brandy, puts it in a glass with the goat's milk, and down it goes in one. So evidently, folks, there must be something in it. Because a man who looked like Popeye and could impersonate Popeye was drinking and eating eggs along with brandy and goat's milk. My goodness, fair play, there must be something in it. You know, don't tell anybody else, because you'll all be running to Tesco's tomorrow to get your goat's milk. They end up like Rinty Monaghan. But don't be saying. There's also, it really is amazing. He used to end up every night either Dunmore or Celtic Park, just walking about like a punter, like everybody. This is a man who's going over to fight for a world title against Dado Marino. People walked up to him and says, "Good luck, Rinty. You fight Joe Louis next." I'm sure he would if he had the chance. So anyway, on the morning he went, he actually got the boat to Liverpool to stay with an aunt. And the biggest thing he had under his arm was 2 wrapped up steaks with him. He says, "I need my steaks. I need to take them, and I need to take them, and I don't want to retire after this fight, but if I don't get my steak, I'm not going to be able to fight." And after the war, steak was like, wow, steak. People were eating tripe, sausages, and all sorts of things, but the champion was eating steak. Fair play, goat's milk, steak, raw eggs and brandy. Jesus, right? Who the hell would do that now? So anyway, off he goes. Haringey, 1,000 people from here went over. 1947, 1,000 people getting the boat to Liverpool and travelling down to London to see Rinty. There was 8,000 people, and 1,000 people were from here. Rinty Monaghan, he beat Dado Marino on points over 15 rounds to lift the world's inverted commas flyweight title. The Irishman got a tremendous ovation when he stepped into the ring to a gramophone record playing "It's a Great Day for the Irish" by Judy Garland. The official announcer, Mr. Patsy Hegan, says, "This is the recognised National Boxing Association of America and Irish Boxing Board of Control Flyweight Championship of the world." And off they went. Monaghan, superior tactics. The more solid puncher, speed, you name it, he had it. He held his own in the opening rounds, during which he hurt Marino more than once. He was from Hawaii, and his manager was called, listen to this, Sad Sam Itchy Nose. Dado Marino, how could you take him seriously? His manager was called Mr. Itchy Nose. I kid you not. Down for a count of 7 in the 11th round, Monaghan was obviously unhurt, and from then on in, he had matters his own way. The big Irish contingent hailed the announcement of the winner rapturously, and after 15 rounds at top speed, Rinty obliged the audience with the song "When Irish Eyes Are Smiling." To 1,000 Belfast local people going over there to see that, he had made history. He was a world champion. Or so we thought. There was one guy he had to fight if he had to beat. He had to fight, he had to beat, if he wanted to be the undisputed world champion. His name? Jackie Patterson. Glasgow, they'd fought twice. Rinty lost the first one, he won the second one. Patterson, this was the man who stood in the way. Eventually, he said he was running scared. But Bob Gardner put £5,000 up. King's Hall, 23rd of March, 1948. 10,000, you can see it in the background there if you look round. 10,000 people coming along to see the fight. There was a bit of a commotion. Jackie Patterson didn't arrive. There was talk he wouldn't have made it. But eventually, when the reporters were about to pack up and leave the Ulster Hall, there was 2,500 people in the Ulster Hall that day to witness the weigh-in. This was big. The very week that Rinty won the title, Ireland beat Wales in rugby at Ravenhill to secure their first ever Triple Crown in rugby. And they talked about this being the Triple Crown. There was 3 titles at stake when these guys were to meet. The excitement in Belfast was palpable. And you read that a Scot who came over the night before missed the whole fight. He says to the judge, Major McCallum, he says, "He come over here to see the fight in Kingshaw, but I was out drinking and I got arrested for fighting. So He was sent back on the next boat, so there was one empty seat in the King's Hall that night. The Scots guy with the kilt, who got too drunk to actually go up. You know, it's like the old thing about a man sitting there, and there's 10,000 people in the audience, and there's an empty seat. They're all watching the fight, and the guy says, God, it's a great fight. Couldn't have got a ticket for a lot of money. The guy says, oh no, no, no. He says, what's the empty seat? He says, he says, it's the wife. She died there. You know, he says, oh, I'm sorry, I'm very sorry to hear that. He says, can you not give the ticket to, like, your daughter or your son or your brother or something? He says, oh, no. She says, they're at the funeral, for God's sake. That's how big that this fight in the King's Hall was between Rinty Monaghan and Jackie Patterson. Eventually, he arrived. The night had come, and I'll tell you about the undercard. Listen to these for names. We had a winner round, Tommy Armour from the Shangle. He was too strong for Walter Humber, a former welterweight champion of France. Freddie Webb, he beat Carl Johnson, who was in those days described as a chocolate-coloured welterweight from Jamaica. That's the way things were in those days. Jackie Wilson of Belfast, who I think might be Barney Wilson's father, I'm not sure. He saw off Roy Peterson of Jamaica. Jimmy Ward, he knocked out Pinky Thompson. Now we come to the main event. Alex?
Round 7. And encouraged by the fact that he's almost reached the halfway mark, Patterson is off his stool quicker for this round than any preceding round. Monaghan still playing it very carefully, watches his opponent very closely, moves in quickly, and they spin each other around on the far side. The referee, Tommy Lytle, moving in closely as ever, watching for any infractions that may occur. Over the ropes and the right to the body, and down goes Patterson, and he's in trouble. Patterson's going to beat the count. He just manages to get up on the count of 9. He staggers to his feet. He's in trouble. Monaghan rushes in for the kill. He measures his man carefully. Pummels him about the head and body to the ropes. Vicious right hook to the jaw. Now an uppercut. Now a left and a right uppercut to the body. And Patterson gets set to go down with a right to the jaw. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and out. And there's a new world's flyweight title holder, Rinty Monaghan of Belfast, who is immediately mobbed by his handlers in the ring. People stand up and cheer themselves wild at King's Hall. Delirious handlers of Monaghan lift him up and start to cheer him, while Patterson, the recent champion, is carried to his corner, still in a very dazed and knocked out condition. Victor and vanquished pose for the photographers. Monaghan obviously the happier of the two. Patterson still looking very wan and worried. His Excellency, the Governor of Northern Ireland, Lord Granville, climbs through to congratulate the new title holder. No need to ask who they back. So it's good luck to the new world's flyweight title holder, Rinty Monaghan of Belfast.